So hello, all of you out there in YouTube land in who are not actually in Cardiff. Anyone in Cardiff, why don't you go over to a coffee shop on the on the wharf on the pier called Baps, if it's still there. Maybe it's not, maybe it got swallowed up by the Yanto shrine that's there. There have been a few shrines in this audio adventure that we're going to be talking about today on Audio Heads, part of Geeks Assembled. Hello, welcome to Geeks Assembled. This is Lee. I am Susan, and together we are reviewing Torchwood Coffee, and coffee is a rather good Yanto story about what what the whole history of Torchwood was like from the perspective of the coffee shop that rides herd over the rift. It's pretty interesting and it's really fun actually. Um yeah, so interesting. And yeah, kind of gruesome too. It's fun. Um like you do, Torchwood, it starts off with a disclaimer. Yeah, please don't listen to this if you're a kid.
Yeah,
I
well, that's
think
true.
that's like I think that's really funny because like you got the thing in your hand, obviously, if you're Lee, or you got the download, and you're not gonna go, oh shit, I'm 12 years old, I can't fucking listen to this. But anyway, I think that's hilarious. So what's your opening thoughts on to coffee? And are you drinking a cup of coffee?
I am drinking a cup of coffee. Yes,
Good for you. That's awesome.
instant.
Oh, okay.
um, yeah, it's an interesting one. This because this, as you say, it's goes through Yanto and his relationship with Kathy and David who owns the coffee shop called Baps. What a great title for a shop, Baps. Oh, but British humour, I giggled.
Does Baps mean tits? Is that what that means?
Yeah, have you got any big
Yeah.
Baps? Yeah. Um, it's or a bread cake, a bread roll,
Oh,
But
sure. Right. Whatever. I
but
believe you.
but as this story goes, because this story going on, the coffee story going on, but where also what we don't see is the Torchwood season one, season two, Children of Earth happening
Uh-huh.
because it's in and out of those seasons. This
Right.
this story takes place well over a long period of time.
It does.
Uh, um, from the first one where he gives Jack a cup of coffee in a mug. Now we know where we got the mug from because he walked away with the mug from the shop. Um, yeah, so it's in and out, saving the world with Torchwood and stuff like that. But all the while, he's showing interest in this coffee shop. Um, Mainly Kathy and David. Kathy being an American backpacker who eventually stays in Wales because after the mistaken mishearing of a Welsh accent from this guy saying "I love you," which she thought she meant, yeah, he meant he loves her, but no, he loves you. Um, so she's stuck in Wales, and then David, who's the owner of the coffee shop, is keeping it open for his mother, who is one of the missing,
Hmm.
and he's out there nearly every night searching for his mother, putting posters up. So I think this is why Yanto shows a bit interest in these two.
Hmm.
Um, as I say, and as you listen to it, you gradually realise it's in and out of time. It's gradually you're going forward through the life of Yanto. It's not it doesn't take place in 1 week. Um, until we reach the Children of Earth era.
So
Um,
cool.
and that's Yanto's last stand, isn't it? But I enjoyed it. Seeing as it's only three people in the cast,
Mm-hmm.
it, it grips you, and it keeps you listening
Yeah.
all through the love of coffee.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was a good re-listen to. Written by James Goss. He's done quite a few.
Yeah.
So yeah, I enjoyed it, Susan. It was a good listen. A good a good
My
random a good random pick there.
Yeah, well, not really random. I've been sort of celebrating my love of coffee at my job for this whole past 2 years, since I started by working full time.
Mhm.
And my love of coffee keeps me going in the day. It gives me a way of adding my protein to it, and it gives me such a warm feeling inside. I know it's generated by the heat of the coffee and the slight up feeling that the beans give, but
Mhm.
it tends to, you know, help me elevate my mood. I'm not 100% medicated, so a little coffee does a lot of good. And Yanto comes in and he finds this couple and they have a little coffee shop, but they are still endeavoring to present their customers with an instant coffee made with steamed water through their espresso machine. But he's like, oh, come on, this thing is so much more amazing than you're giving, than these coffees that you're passing out here. And they started by serving it in a styrofoam cup, you know, like was done in the 60s, 70s, 80s kind of feel. And then like you get the feeling that Yanto's there the first time in like the 90s, like the early mid 90s, and he's like, take this take he explains the functionality of the coffee machine to this couple. He demonstrates its its power. It demonstrates how it can create these foofy coffee drinks, how it can create seriously enlivening coffee drinks, robust blends. And he shows them how to tamp it, how to use the controls and the steaming arm and all of that in the milk instead of in the water. Use a steamer for the milk and then create your coffee drink. And I mean, the that was fun because I was surprised when I heard that, in the beginning of this audio, that they started off that Baps Coffee started off as a instant coffee
Yeah,
distributor. I mean, like, and so through this whole process with Yanto, this couple have seen the rift, have seen the aliens. They walk through with the pterodactyl that ends up stuck in Torchwood for the long haul. They live through the creation of Torchwood's sort of excited team. They figure out that Yanto really likes Jack, and that Yanto first of all, they figure out that he's got a girl on the side. And you kind of think back and you're like, wait a minute, Yanto, and then you're like, oh yeah, those first few episodes, those first two episodes, he was the first episode he was hiding his cyber girlfriend, who was half of a upgrade away from being a Cyberman, and she was in this in the basement there, and he had found a way to move her into the basement and hook her up to all of the Torchwood devices. And so, I mean, you go through this whole process and of him figuring out that he loved Jack too, and that was great. And by the coffee, you figure, you know, Eddie Izzard always jokes that when you offer somebody a coffee, you're saying, "Oh, sex," that, like it's sex is necessarily to follow. And so, I just think that is kind of true in the British way, because in the British way, you don't offer a person a cup of tea just for that. A cup of tea is just like breathing for y'all. But the cup of coffee, that can be a little sexier. So, that's a thing. And so I think that was part of it. And so this is yeah, this coffee shop doesn't ever seem to get sidetracked into tea creation or whatever. Um and then there was all the history, like when Jack's friend comes, and the the length of time that Jack is hanging around, Yanto's kind of figuring this stuff out, and he's also, he starts talking a little bit about Tosh uh and the rest of the team. And and then at the end, um the two cafe owners are are yelling at him, basically, why is my niece standing there saying this stuff? Why is she saying they are coming? Why is she saying they're coming? And grabbing Yonto, going, tell me. And like, you get that feeling that there's a lot of that. It's just it's super hyper intense. And the 456 is there's all that stuff with the 456, and that was just incredibly different and devastating. And the cast is really good. And so you've got a piece here that is a long piece, because it's only from the perspective of the coffee shop, and you don't have any of the other characters in it, so you're able to sort of look at the long haul of Torchwood, and Torchwood is fun that way. Torchwood has a lot of character and camaraderie that you see on the telly, but this is Yanto, you know, using that same emotional openness to this couple who runs a coffee shop, and that's fun. And it was well played, 100% well played, and 100% interesting for me, because of all the, like, the Easter eggs. But it's not actually Easter eggs, because it's actually telling the same story. So no Easter eggs. Let's just wipe the I didn't just say that. It's telling the same story. So yeah. Okay. And what are your favorite moments? What things did you notice? How Okay, go ahead.
Well, the running gag all the way through this is that the Baps cafe keeps getting hit by alien invasions or alien incursions. So it either gets windows smashed, things get blown up, which makes Dave quite angry against Torchwood. What are you doing? Why aren't you saving this? Why aren't you saving that? Why haven't you found my mother?
Yeah.
And as the story goes along, Yanto's trying his hardest for Dave to like him.
Mhm.
So I don't know if maybe Yanto had a bit of a soft spot for David as well.
Mhm.
He wanted him to like him.
Mhm.
Um,
Yes, he did.
yeah, I mean, as you say, you mentioned Kathy and David, the couple in the ocean. They were a couple, was they? He was the boss. She was the what do you call it? The
Barista.
yeah, the barista. And then it, it's constantly, as I say, in Cardiff Bay, constantly getting the rifts opening up and things happening. These two people are seeing things on the TV, seeing things, hearing things on the radio, seeing things in real life. What's going on? But as Yanto says, Torchwood can't always win everything. And, you know, it is a good story. I mean, you've got you've got hints. It's Tosh is mentioned, Owen's mentioned.
Mhm.
Um, one of the moments where he comes in and says, "Give me, give me five bacon sandwiches," and then he went, "Oh no, make that three." Then you realise, oh yeah, Owen's dead, Tosh is dead, leaving Jack, and um, oh, what's her name?
Gwen.
Gwen. Uh,
Eve Miles.
yeah. So you think, oh yeah. So there's a little. He even forgot that Owen and Tosh. So that was roughly around about the time those two passed away in the series.
Mm.
Uh, so there's a good little. I mean, you don't have to know the Torchwood TV series to understand this.
Yeah.
So, but if you have seen the TV series, it's a nice little. Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that's what happened on screen. Um, uh, th- there is one question I have got though. Who was the person who came in the cafe at the end? Because by then, Yanto was dead. Um, it didn't really because they didn't know the guy who'd come in. He said, "Oh, I'm a friend of Yanto's. He's recommended this. He's up. He's saved the world again." And I'm thinking, well, if this is the Children of the Earth section, he'd have passed away by then.
Mhm.
So it didn't really because it wasn't Captain Jack who came in.
No, no, it was
It did sound like Gareth David-Lloyd who plays Yanto.
kind of, yeah,
But I'm thinking, well, no, they'd know who he was.
right?
So I'm thinking it can't have been him. So I don't know who that was supposed to be because it wasn't really explained. Then
No, you're right. That was weird.
it was a bit weird. I mean, you would have
Mhm.
expected Jack to have come in at the end.
Jack or Gwen
Yeah.
or Kyle.
It did sound like Carl.
No,
But
or
yeah,
it could have been the police, the police detective or police constable,
Andy.
Andy. Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't sound like him though.
Huh.
'Cause you get to know the voices, don't you?
You do totally. Yeah, you're right. Uh, that
That's
was
the
a
that's the,
that's a really good question.
that's the only thing what sort of I stopped and I thought, oh, who's that supposed to be? And
Huh.
but apart from that, an enjoyable story because by the end of it, Kathy and David are sort of closer together. We don't know if they do get together or they're going to remain boss and employee.
Wait,
Um, but they've seen everything. And David has stopped blaming
Torchwood.
Torchwood, and also saying that every alien is bad
Right.
because it took Yanto to um, sort of be a prick to
Yeah.
him when he thought he'd been cut by the alien and getting infected, and Yanto said, "We're gonna have to take your arm off."
Yeah.
That he was just doing that to prove a point that not all aliens are bad, but he did it sort of a dickish way.
Yeah, yeah, he did. Like he was like, no, 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 no. What is it called? No anesthesia, no nothing. And he was just like, yeah, here,
Yeah, it
bite
was
down on this. So, oh my gosh.
all to do with coffee.
And to
Oh,
do coffee. And the beautiful thing about this is that I mean, their coffee shop becomes a cool place to hang out.
yeah,
You know, it goes from being just kind of a schlub joint to being a really cool coffee shop that's had a lot of alien incursion.
yeah,
I mean, sort of like, Quarks on Deep Space Nine, just kind of like a place where aliens just come and hang out and sit down with the Torchwood folks. That's kind of what it's going to end up being.
hmm
I think that your energy level would increase too, by spending time at Baps. So it's just a cool, and yeah, and those two are fun, cafe owners. They don't they don't seem like they chase you away if you were there trying to, raise a rebellion or fight for Welsh independence, any of that stuff. I think that they would be like, oh, okay. So it's fun.
I did like the part where after the he pulled his leg about having to cut his arm,
Hmm.
amputate his arm. Yanto came in to apologise the day or two after. So he said, "Well, I'll get you a coffee. What do you want?" He gives him the coffee, and where they write the names on the cup, he wrote
Uh-huh.
John
Done.
and put syrup in the coffee and, and drew a cock and balls on. Okay, I can take a hint.
Yeah, that's right. That was right. It's funny.
See, I mean, there is dark. Torchwood is dark humour. That it's very
Really?
dark movies, but the humour is there.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Yeah, that was funny. So, so do you tend to like these ones that kind of tell a story about some sort of people on the periphery of a like let's say you'd have a story about the nuthatch in
in Green Death.
death, or you'd have a story about the the crofters in and around Scotland and Loch Ness. Uh
Well, I like because what they do with this Torchwood, um, because they can't get the cast all together at once. I think this is the thing because they're
yeah,
all busy.
yeah.
So like this one, you've got Yanto.
Hmm.
Another one, another ones you get Tosh on their own, or you get
Yeah,
Sergeant Andy with Owen,
yeah.
stuff like that. But also you get other Torchwoods where none of these people are in them.
Yeah, I've noticed that there's a lot of Torchwood 1 and 2
Not,
stories now.
not even that. There's like Torchwood from the 1920s.
Yeah,
Characters,
true
like
that.
Norton Folgate is one of the characters.
Uh-huh.
Or you get like one-offs with someone working in Torchwood you've never heard of before, but it's an episode with those people in it.
Yeah.
There's one with the American side Torchwood. I think it's called Doll's House. The story where it's got three American women. It's like Charlie's Angels.
Uh-huh.
It's things like that, and I don't mind that because you can branch out in any direction.
Yeah.
We've had the ones with Queen Victoria.
Yeah. Definitely.
It's a shame. It's a shame. John Barrowman's still in the doghouse with the BBC because he hasn't done
He
any
hasn't
for
done
quite.
shit since this all this stuff went down, and since he
Since
even apologized,
yeah,
5 years after he'd already done an apology in person.
since he was thrown under the bus by another actor.
Yeah, that was not fair.
But yeah, I quite like the way because you don't know what you're going to get with Torchwood every release.
Hmm.
I mean, was it about a month or so ago? We had 3 releases every 3 months, and it was all to do with the Ood.
Uh-huh. That's right.
And it was each character in each one was a different person, but they were all from the Tenant episode,
Yeah.
the Satan
Hit.
Pit. There was 3 characters from that story. What was in those Torchwood releases?
Yeah.
I like the way they bring back characters as well. What had nothing to sort of do with Torchwood, but now they're included into Torchwood. Like we've got Ace now.
Yeah.
In a few of these Torchwood stories.
Yep. That was pretty cool.
And we've had Martha as well in a few.
Yeah. Martha and Mickey, though, that they were, they were supposedly a team working with Torchwood and Unit.
Yeah, I mean, with Doctor Who, you've got a lot of canon stuff.
Yeah.
What you're stuck with, and you can't. Well, I can't change this. I can't change that. But with Torchwood, I think they've got a little bit of leeway.
Yeah. Sure.
Because the BBC don't really own Torchwood. It's Mr. Russell T Davies who's the great creator of that. As with Doctor Who, it's a BBC baby, isn't it?
Uh-huh. It's a franchise with BBC.
It's a flagship. It's a BBC flagship program. So
Flagship.
that is why you can do a little bit more. You've got a little bit more freedom with these Torchwood audios.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I like to say I like the surprise every month. Who it's going to be, what it's going to be about, because they can be really dark, really dark sometimes.
Uh-huh.
I just wish they'd sort Mr. Barrowman
Solve
out.
the issue with Barrowman.
Yeah, solve that issue and get him back as Captain Jack in audios.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I don't know what's going to happen there because must be going on 3-4 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but let's go back to Baps.
Okay. All right. And I will order cappuccino style mocha, please, with 3 shots, and I'd like it sugar-free and fat-free.
No syrup.
I would like no, you can use syrup if you want, but I need the sugar-free syrup, and I need it fat-free with fat-free milk, and please leave it between 180 and 190 degrees Fahrenheit, and that would be perfect.
I
And
just,
so
I just,
and
not,
you can take it out of my app here.
I just have mine black, no sugar.
All right, well, all right, just a regular. All right, and then here's the other way I take my coffee, other than the mocha, is I take my coffee
Is it
uh
coffee,
strong,
coffee?
strong black coffee, dark roast, midnight roast, Dunkin' midnight, hot,
Mm.
no Splenda, no cream, no
Oh,
room for cream, no room for Splenda, just fill it all the way up of
yeah.
midnight. And it's gotta be, I like my coffee like I like my men, black, strong, and able to take it. Yeah, that's it.
You see, people have thought I'd have said that, but
Yeah,
no, you said it.
yeah, it's good. Mm.
Oh, dear.
Why, don't you agree?
I like a black coffee. That's sounds simple. Black coffee,
Mm-hmm.
no sugar. Well, you drink it and you go woo.
Yeah, warms you up. Mm.
You can run a marathon after you've had one. Woo.
So good. Yeah.
Uh, yeah,
So thankful that we got to listen to this week. It was great. I will be actually sharing this with this particular podcast with all my workmates, because all my workmates know that I just love coffee so much.
yeah.
Like I have to have it, 2.5, 3 scoops of coffee in the drip machine with you put in hot water to begin with, so it doesn't have that far to go, so it makes it quicker. And you if you can, you get it as soon as it's done with the dripping process, so that it doesn't so that it's not changed anyway, and it's not bitter. It's so good. Oh my gosh. That's the yummy stuff. And Lee, do you have a coffee every day, or do you
Uh,
what's your relationship with coffee?
well, so I'm drinking one now. I maybe have two a day.
Uh-huh.
Um, I know I have a tea in the morning when I get up,
Uh-huh.
and then I say about lunchtime I have a coffee, and then evening time I also have another one. So yeah, maybe two a day.
Oh, all
Keep,
right.
keep me going.
Yeah,
So I think I drink more coffee than I do tea.
I think so too. I'm picking that up. That's awesome.
But I wouldn't say no to a cup of tea either.
All
That's
right.
that's black and no sugar as well.
All right.
Just like how you like your men.
Uh-huh. Darn right.
Darn right. Oh dear.
Oh, sweet. Oh,
And this is why you've got to be 18 and over to
to
do this.
join our podcast. Right. Right. The and because each coffee, represents a sexy thing in terms of being an Eddie Izzard fan, well then or a Susie Izzard fan, she's called now, here we go. It just means that you and I are are sexier than everyone else, that's the way I figure it. That's really the way I figure it. Anyway, yeah,
Anyways, we digress.
we digress. So I'm and I do like the Yanto story. I do like that they didn't harp on it, but they went back and they said that there were these missing person things, and then it turned into a Yanto shrine eventually.
Yeah.
They kind of did mention that, like how this board became all about Yanto later. So that was amazing. And so for coffee, what's your final say and score?
Uh, Enjoyed it. As I say, I love these monthly releases. Um, Great writing, great acting. Seeing as it was a small cast, directed well by Scott Hancock. What shall I give this? I'm going to give this 10 big baps out of 10.
Nice. Nice.
No Benny Hill humor there.
No, Benny Hill. Yes, Benny Hill. Okay. Um, it was this being by or Jeremy Goss, James
James.
Goss,
Yeah.
and his writing is everywhere in the Hooniverse. He's a really great writer, and yes, directed by Scott Hancock and Scott. Excuse me, David was played by Sean Chambers, and
Yeah.
Kathy played by Sarah Griffin, and David-Lloyd is of course Yanto. I will give this, I'll give this 10, uh, 10 cup, 10 styrofoam cups out of 10. I just think that this was amazing. It really had uh, a lot of cool sort of conversations with Yanto, and I think that it was, yeah, the writing was really good, and the and how it revealed little bits of superfluous or uh extramural uh things about the whole rift and the whole uh you know harbor,
Mhm.
uh Cardiff Harbor, Cardiff Wharf. That was really something amazing. And because it was all about coffee, eventually, kind of like that was a through line. Yeah, it was beautiful. And so I'd like to invite you to subscribe to our channel. And when you subscribe, please hit the bell notification.
Mhm.
And also do share it widely, and give us a thumbs up, please. Please like our thing, or you don't have to like us, but or whatever. But Torchwood deserves praise, so thumbs up. And then and also I would uh I would invite you to join us if you want. We are always still, I guess it's just like a normal every podcast thing. We just ask for you to join us. But yeah, and also uh please leave comments, join our social media. We're on X, Tumblr, sort of, and Facebook, definitely.
Yeah.
And Facebook, also uh we have information on Lee's Instagram. So go ahead and follow Lee on Instagram, and do give him hearts for his work on there, because he does sort of uh surround all of our um posting with preludes, and then the one that shows what we've done, and that would be great fun for you to stay up on what we're up to. And we've been doing this for a long time. We're nearing our 1,000th podcast.
Oh,
So
oh. Makes you feel.
fantastic. We are happy to have you
Yeah.
watching these, and we're not going to stop because we love doing these things. So come again next week with and come again this weekend with where we're reviewing Oppenheimer. Excuse me. I hope I don't get that name wrong when we're doing our podcast about it. Anyway, so that'll be fun for you too. Please come back.